Moving back to our main story. Now, the names of Brianna Ghey's killers will be revealed when the two 16-year-olds are sentenced next year after a judge ruled that the anonymity order protecting their identities can be lifted. Now, the pair were 15 when they brutally murdered Brianna in a park in Warrington on the 11th of February. Brianna's parents spoke on the steps of Manchester Crown Court after the two teens were found guilty of stabbing their daughter to death.
And I know she was a beautiful girl to be proud of. I hate how her life has been brutally taken away from her, and she's been deprived of the life she wanted to live. It's difficult to comprehend how some people can do these vile things in the world and don't understand how cruel and heartbreaking their actions can be.
To know how scared my usually fearless child must have been when she was alone in that park with someone that she called her friend will haunt me forever. Prior to the trial, I had moments where I felt sorry for the defendants because they had ruined their own lives as well as ours. But now knowing the true nature and seeing neither display an ounce of remorse for what they have done to Brianna, I have lost all sympathy that I may have previously had for them, and I am glad that they will spend many years in prison.
But how did two teenagers, still known as Girl X and Boy Y, become killers? A chilling note was shown to the court allegedly detailing how the pair planned to lure the victim to a park before carrying out one of the most brutal killings Britain has ever seen. I'm joined now by criminal psychologist Dr David Holmes on this point. Afternoon to you, David. It's I don't say this to sound crass, but it's almost the age-old question. You know, are killers born? Are they made? Is it a lottery that once in a while the human gene pool throws up people who are capable of this kind of thing? Or are there more sinister and environmental factors at play here?
I think in this case, it's one of those 1 in 10,000 cases where certain elements come together to actually conspire against humanity and against the humane treatment of others. Normally speaking, individuals with autistic traits, which both of these individuals have been reported as having, and clearly from their behaviour, even in court, it's fairly profound that they do have autistic traits. In most cases, someone with autism or autistic traits would be less likely to be somebody who would be harming another person. They're just not that interested in other people, more in things, and perhaps very much interested in things like the web and technological things. So in this case, these traits have kind of conspired. It's kind of autism gone wrong, really, whereby the kind of obsession that you get in autism with Girl X has meant that she has scoured the web using those kind of skills, technological skills, which tend to be very adept in individuals with these traits. She has become completely and utterly obsessed and absorbed in murder and torture, and basically how to harm others in great detail. Now, the thing is that she's managed to find Boy Y as a kind of compatriot, as a kind of soul buddy, who can, in fact, support her and even try and carry out these acts. Now, both of them have these traits, so both of them are kind of not very social. They're not mixing with others very readily, only probably very glibly through messaging and through on kind of TikTok or whatever. So therefore, they don't kind of reflect on these weird ideas that they were evolving about killing other people, actually putting into practice what Girl X had actually learned from the web, and therefore not testing out this. They're not getting other people's, oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, no, don't be silly. You can't do things like that. So they're becoming this kind of conspiratorial, almost folie à deux situation where between them, they are actually creating almost a new reality, which is obsessively focused on individuals that they may wish to kill and carry out these heinous acts that they've read about and absorbed. Now, they don't also have the kind of empathy for others, the kind of care consideration, treating others as human, sentient human beings, and thus they don't have that kind of last second, oh, no, I can't do this because I'm harming someone. They don't feel that. They don't have the same kind of feedback of when you or I perhaps would, to put it in an extreme sense, poke a fork into someone's eye. We'd go out before the fork ever managed to reach that person's eye. A person who lacks empathy would not actually see it. It would be objective. It would just be perforating something. So it's that level of not actually feeling that you're doing anything that's actually really harming anyone. They're just objects, if you like, in a game.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because the lack of empathy is, from what I understand, is demonstrable sort of psychopathic trait in the true sense of the word. And just to compound that as well, of being in this kind of cocooned reality that just the two of them occupied, it extended even to what is beyond madness, given the nature of what they were doing, that they never considered they would get caught.
No. One of the failings, if you like, as criminals for people with autistic traits is their lack of kind of social intelligence. They don't actually see that they are, possibly creating plots and things that other people could see through. No, other people will just follow the line of reasoning, and that will be it. So they make up stories to cover themselves, and they actually do think that other people just believe that. Whereas most people just look at it at a glance and go, no, it's ridiculous. Clearly, you've done it. So they've got this overconfidence in their ability to just walk away from a crime and no one will ever find it.
Indeed. Listen, David, always good to get your take on these things. Thank you, Dr. David Holmes, psychologist, with us here on Talk TV.